to help the customer or help anybody. It doesn't matter. That's an example, but
when you
does that
say
make
you're not,
sense?
when you say you're not getting the response, you're not getting the response from the vendor.
The person, whoever's on the other line end of that. I'm trying to make something happen in normal course of day-to-day business.
Yeah.
You would do this, step one, then get a response from this person, then you can go back. But because of the season,
Yep.
I'm not getting it because maybe they're working from home and God forbid they're sick. And I'm not being conscious of that.
Yep.
It could be. And as this thing unfolds, there's more and more people that everybody knows who's in this, who has sickness, you know, but I'm trying to be conscious of that, but at the same time, trying to get business done.
Yeah.
What do I got to be thinking about? Because I'm thinking about execution all the time.
Yeah, two things. This is for everybody, especially in this season. You need to be fluid like water. And so you have to be able to go with the way the market is going. And right now, the market or the season is making shifts, even in the way we're doing business, the way we're communicating. So you need to adapt and adjust to your market, to your client, to your customer. And remember in you wanting to execute, execution is execution. It may look different and may come at different times. So technically you did execute. You did all that you could do. And this is the second thing, control what you can control. So you want to make sure that you do everything that you can do. And once it's out of your hands, you really can't do anymore. Then the second part of that is communicate early and often. Communicate early and often. Key, watch this. Kristen told me she had talked to, I think it was you, Benny, and there's a problem with the back end, the platform that we use, Thinkific. So she told me it was late last night after 9 o'clock. And I said, shut it down, send the email out to everybody saying that the platform will not be available this weekend because we're doing maintenance on it. And I said, send the email to Zakira, who maintains the platform. Let's jump on a call this morning by 10 a.m. and take whatever time we need, because I want that thing a certain way because I got plans for it. And so what I did was, and then I said to Chris, I needed you to let me know sooner in the day so that it's not after 9 o'clock. I'm huge on client service, customer care, and I'm huge on communication. And so here's the lesson that I said to everybody. Communicate early and often, because the sooner we communicate, the sooner we can get the message out. And then control what you can control. While I was ticked off that the problem popped up, and just because of a lack of attention to detail, I'm even more ticked off that we didn't communicate it early and often and find out about it early on. So now I got to control what I can control. Send out an email immediately, sooner than later, saying it's shut down, and make sure everybody gets it. Then the second thing is I need to jump on a call with you and her immediately, make sure that goes out. And what most of us do is there's too much of a gap, too much of a pause in between that communication. And so I always say that from the time you're supposed to do something to the time you actually do it, all this is a gap. And in that gap, anything can happen in between that gap. Negativity can come in between that gap. Dissension can come in between that gap. People can die in between the gap because we're not communicating early and often. So to all my business owners, to all my entrepreneurs, and you're in the service business, you're working with clients, you're dealing with customers, you need to remember this one thing: communicate early and often, and control what you can control.
All right, thank you. That was huge.
Yeah, and this is the other thing for everybody. This is almost, and I know, like, aside from people getting sick and losing their lives, this is a good thing for us in life, because we get a little too comfortable. We're so used to having things and going easy and getting carefree with not just our lives, but also our businesses. So even from a health perspective, I'm sure, Lita, that you like, all right, let me make some adjustments in my health and the way I do things. Even me, just from sitting around the house sometime, and my trainer, I'm training with him minimum 3 days a week, and I'm getting on the treadmill, but still, I could do 2 a days, to be honest with you. I should be doing 2 a days. So I'm saying, like, everybody needs to rethink their life and their business, because you can't get comfortable. I'm looking at stuff And just think about the people who don't have access to electricity, to a house, to Zoom, to internet, that are less fortunate. And they are looking up to us, and we're like at a certain point in our life, but they look up to us based on like, okay, we have things that they don't have. So we should be striving to do better, to be better, to make sure that our life and our business is better, so that that modeling can drip down to those behind us, and then help those or serve those that are less fortunate. And you can't get comfortable. And so the questions, everybody, if you're trying to do a business or you're in business, you should have a question right now, because you should be trying to figure out how you can adapt, how you can pivot, adapt, and make adjustments with the market, because the market has shifted. Don't think that just because like once this all clears up, that everything is gonna go back to business as usual. Zoom about to blow up. I went and got some stock in Zoom. They're about to blow up. Zoom is about to blow up. So I'm saying to myself, I'm literally trying out new methods, new ways to do business. And true story. Right before, I had been saying all last year and going into this year, we were going to get another commercial cleaning company, right? Went to the franchise, looked at everything, and I was about to pull the trigger, but I didn't have the help that I was gonna need, because I was telling my son, I'm not going out every night and cleaning buildings like I used to do back in the 90s. That's not gonna happen. I need to be sure I got a manager, I got all this. And so I just said, let's just wait a second and not jump into it. So I talked to my man that actually has a commercial cleaning business. And I was like, yo, how's business? And he said, booming. I was like, damn. He said, booming. He said, because everybody wants their building sanitized. They want things. He's like, he's overloaded with work. So I said, yup, time to pull the trigger. Because that is for it. I should have did it early and often. I should have did it then. But I also said, Ross, I was like, while if I do it now, I might be doing it for later. What I didn't say was I don't have to do it on the scale I was going to do it at. I should have went down, instead of getting the $10,000 package, I could have went and got the $5,000 package and still been in the game. Lesson learned. So now we in the midst. Let's go get it. Going to get it. So as soon as we can get out the house and they lift the whole corn hook up, I'm going to go get it. Even with the cargo vans, doing the I was supposed to do that last year. So now I'm like, yup, makes sense. Let's go get it. But at the same time, make sure you're not over expanding your capacity to do things effectively and efficiently. Because one of the things I will not do is allow any other stream of revenue to affect my main stream, and that's my coaching and my speaking. All right, I see. Let me
say you got 4 hands and you got 2 other questions in the chat.
Good. Tony Rossi, what you got, sir?
Hey, good morning.
Great. I'm live on YouTube. They wouldn't let me get on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that.
Live on YouTube. Let's go.
Yeah. So, oh, I'm sorry. You good?
Yeah.
Cool. So Thursday I got laid off from my job, and truth be told, I didn't see it coming. So I'm not so concerned about money right now because I got some savings and they're giving me severance. But as a high flamingo, I loved those people. So one challenge is just the loss of that. And I have people, like I have the G, but I don't have them anymore. And so that's kind of getting to me. And then the other part is, I know there are jobs out there. I know I'm going to be able to find something. My concern is that some jobs in the past have taken a toll on my mental health. For example, and I know you can't do this now, but waiting tables. I couldn't wait tables. That depressed me. So my concern is that because I like that job so much and it was so hard to find, I'm worried about what job I'll be taking in the meantime that might have an impact on my mental health, you know?
Yeah, so I say 2 things, Tony. Remember that you have some of every animal in you. Don't get caught up in your flamingo is just that natural. So I want you to think about your life right now as you playing a movie role. You got a part in the movie. It's called the 2020 Tony Rossi. And you are going to have to remember some of those Broadway plays where one person plays all the characters. or like Eddie Murphy and Coming to America playing all the characters. And so you're going to have to play a different character in this movie. And so in some parts of this movie, you're going to be the flamingo Tony. And in some parts, you're going to be the turtle Tony. And some parts, you're going to be the chameleon Tony. And then some parts, you're going to have to be the lion Tony. And you need to say to yourself, I am prepared to get an Academy Award or an Oscar for this role I'm about to play for the rest of 2020. You go out, because it's not about what you do, it's about the experience and the experiences that you get from what you do. Every role that you have ever gotten or auditioned for, you were able to learn something from. And this is the same thing. I need you to go out there and do something and know that it's not for the long game, it's for the short game, but you need to go out and learn not only a new skill, but you got to go out and you'll meet new people. Even online, even if you go deliver Instacart, it's opening you up to a different experience.
Yeah.
So I want you to be open to any and everything, knowing that even though, let's just use the waiting tables as an example. Yeah, it depressed you, but for that season, I'm sure you learned some lessons, didn't you?
For sure.
And that's the benefit of doing things different. And that's why I said, like, this whole thing is it's really a gift in disguise, because it's forcing people to expand, period. It's forcing people to do different things. It's forcing us to be a little bit more creative. It's forcing us to do something. Here's the thing I used to say: when is the last time you did something for the first time? And it's forcing some of us to do that. So ask yourself, you should be not asking yourself, but preparing yourself to play all 4 different roles, especially for the rest of 2020, knowing that your primary role may not be available for the rest of this year as frequently as you would like. And remember that you can adapt and go over your natural talent. We just know we shouldn't do it for any extended period of time. But you should be going in and out of all these different personalities that you have inside of you, right? So your turtle will allow you to do stuff online. Your flamingo will allow you to do some, maybe now's the time for you to start some group coaching acting lessons. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe now's the time for some of y'all that were doing the double Dutch, trying to decide if you wanted to start a part-time business or do something different in your business, but you scared and you was doing the double Dutch. Maybe now's the time for you to do that. Everybody at the crib.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Rachel Holmes, what you got?
Good morning, everybody. To kind of piggyback off what you were talking about to Tony, is how you said our flamingo should do this and the chameleon in us should do this. How do we do those things from a coaching consulting perspective without seeming all over the place? You know, like when you're strong in one area, you look like you're killing that. But then when you touch something else, it can come off as if you're just all over the place.
Yeah, I got you. I do it every day. So everybody grab a pen and paper. This is going to be a good one. I do it every day. I've been working on this one, Ross. I think I was talking to Devin about this one last week. So even as Rachel, you're a coach?
Yes, I'm coaching and consulting women in terms of overcoming, just poor mindsets and things like that. So I'm grinding and doing all that now and just putting myself out there so people know who it is that I am,
Excellent. Let me share this with everybody, all my coaches, consultants, and parents. So I came up with this concept, and it is the four types of people you need in your life. And I have expanded it to, as a coach, these are the 4 characteristics you need to have in your business and with your clients. So, and it's the 4 Ps. You need to be a pusher, and that pusher is the lion in you. Doesn't matter how much you have. You can have 20% lion, but you need to max out in that 20%. You need to max out at 100% of that 20%. You need to push people. You got to push people. And then you need to be prepared to pull people. That's the chameleon in you. You need to be able to pull them back, right? You're going too fast. let's slow the pace down. I see you, Ernest. Let's slow the pace down and pull them back. You need to be a puller. So pusher, lion. Puller, chameleon. Preparer is the turtle. You need to help people prepare. That means you're training people. You're giving them process. You're giving them order. You're giving them instructions, right? And then you need to be a promoter. That's the flamingo. And that means you're lifting them up. You're energizing them. You're giving them the confidence and the belief that they can do what they say they do. And you will not appear to be all over the place, because no matter how much you go in and out of these 4 Ps or in and out of your animals, your natural gift and your natural talent is always going to shine. And it's like cream. It'll always rise to the top. So don't get this wrong. There's a difference between being a guru and an expert in one area, and the difference between that and being able to be diverse and touch different areas. There's a big difference. So you need to be all 4 of those things for your client and your consultant, but your gift, your natural superpower, that natural animal with you will always shine. And that doesn't mean that, like, when you're pulling back, you don't need to be an expert puller, right? What you need to do is understand, just like I said to Tony, understand the client that you have in front of you. And then you have to say to yourself, what do they need most in this season? Now, let me help somebody out. A season, there's no time period on it. A season can be 5 minutes on the phone. I'm on the phone with clients sometime and I'm listening to the season that they in, and I might push. And then I'll hear the season, I'm like, nope, they need to be prepared. And then I'll hear the season again, it might change within a phone call. And that's the guru-ness or the expertise of a phenomenal coach, being able to coach somebody from the inside out. So it's people that come to me, Rachel, and they say they want boom, 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 boom. And I get to know them and I'm like, you can get that, but we're gonna have to do this first. So let me pull you back. Let me prepare you for what it is that you want. Oh, no, you ready? Yep, let me promote you. And now let me push you. You ain't doing enough. Get your butt out there and go do this. I did it yesterday. Matter of fact, one of my guys hit me yesterday and he started pushing himself. He was going a little too far out. He caught himself, pulled himself back, and then sent me a text and be like, yo, I'm back. I'm coming back. All right, let me get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. And all I did was I just promoted him. And I said, yep, you're right. That's good. Keep going. Make sense? Did that help, Rachel?
Oh man, that was good. Like that woke me up. That was real
Yeah,
good.
I told you to take your pen and paper out.
I wrote it down. I wrote it. Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome. All right. Let's go with Norris. What you got, Norris?
Okay, coach, I got a couple of things real quick. The 4 Ps, I've seen that in the material that you sent out to us new guys that's coming in the boss. And I use this because I picked up 2 new clients. I didn't pick, they weren't new, but 2 months ago, I picked these clients up for free because I'm trying to build my brand, and they wanted to lose weight and wanted to know how I made the body transformation. So here it is, 2 months past, they've accomplished their goal. I got them to the weight that they need to be at. What else can I offer?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I'm so glad. Just getting a refill on my coffee.
Hey, you good? I'm gonna let you answer this first, and I want to share something. This real quick.
Do one question because I want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity. So ask
Okay.
one, then I'll come back to you if we got time.
Okay, no worries.
I want to make sure everybody get one. All right. So
All right.
Here's the thing that I say to everybody, right? And I said this to a couple of clients this week. We get so caught up on transactions, right? Meaning, yo, let me drop this out. Let me go out here and do this. And you want to make a transaction. So I'm gonna use what you said as an example. The clients came in and said, I wanted to lose weight. But because our mindset is transactional, we're only thinking about that one thing that they say they want. And that's why I teach the Q framework. The Q framework gives you a foundation to know exactly who you are, what you do, who you do it for, make sure that your back end, your RHQ is set up. And then once you get sweet on your Q framework, and this is the part that I don't even get a lot of time to go into people with, then your pillars have to come in, those 6 pillars. In the 6 pillars is you key in on the program. So now the question is, what is the program that I'm putting together. So if you're thinking like that, you'll say, okay, my program is I'm going to help somebody lose weight. Now, once I help them get to that weight loss number, then what? You need to have scalable, you need to have levels to your coaching and your program so that you can grow up and then scale the business. I'm gonna give you a real live example. So my B.O.S. program, it has 3 levels in it: start level, grow level, scale level. The start level, which is the foundational level, is the 90-day program. You come in, we're going over the Q framework. That's it, because that's your foundation. That's where you need to get strong and sweet and answering those questions. I ain't gonna say how many it is now, because it done went up. Answering those questions that you need to answer. That's the start level. Then once you get that sweet and you got your Q framework, and then now you in the 6 pillars and you got your 6 pillars working for you, then the grow level is B.O.S. Plus. It's at a different price point. It's a different level up. Right there, we're focusing on growing your business. We're talking about marketing, we're talking about messaging, we're talking about modeling, and we're talking about monetizing. That is growing your revenue, right? Then once you get past the grow phase, then it's the scale phase. Duplicating yourself in your business. You're bringing in admins. Your marketing is leveling up. Like you're working more on your business than in your business. And so what you did, Norris, is you went out there and you got some clients, and that was great, but you didn't lay a foundation. You didn't forecast your program or your business. And that's what most of us do. I used to do it. But now I say, look, when somebody comes in to work with me, I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Ain't nothing happening for nobody in 90 days, unless you have an established business. So I can work with an established business that has a clear-cut objective over a 90-day period, and we can move the needle in their business, but you never stop. You should be coaching people for at least a year in order to see some change and some growth. And not just change in growth, but an increase in performance, which means an increase in revenue. And this is what I meant in that video that I dropped yesterday. Too many people are coming to the table, and people come to me and say, yo, I want to share my message. I talked to somebody yesterday morning. Yo, coach, I got a phenomenal story. I want to share my story with the world. I was like, bet, you trying to do it as a business? He said, yeah. I said, why don't you just say, yo, I want to build a business? You come with all this fanciful stuff because of the mindset that you have. And when you don't think like a business person, when you don't have that entrepreneurial or that business mindset, you're not going to do business moves. And then people will say to me, Ross, they'll be like, well, man, I don't know if I got that money. People that are business people never question the money. They never question the money because they're in it to get a return on their investment. I talked to people last week, they done came through 4 or 5 different programs. I'm talking about they done been pimped out and they don't have the money to go into the program that they actually need. That's gonna really move the needle because of the emotional decisions that you're making. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure every program out there has its benefit. It just doesn't mean that it's beneficial for you in this season of your life. And so the answer to that is, before you do anything, do everything. Let's say that again. Before you do anything, do everything. Adrian was going to come in and do work with us last year. We didn't get the opportunity to connect, but she's seeing the value in the information. That's why she jumps on these Q&As. She's taking advantage of the opportunity to get some assistance in building her business. So for those of y'all that are building businesses, whether it's full-time or part-time, I promise you, people ask me all the time, yo, how did you get there? I got the 5 C's. I said them the other day. And the very first thing on my 5 C's is I got a coach and I was coachable. And that's not a sales pitch. I don't care if you do it with me or not, but you need to find somebody that works with you that can give you the guidance that you need. Did that help?
Yes, that was valuable. I appreciate it.
I promise you, I just forgot who asked the question.
Norris.
No, when you answered, I was like, okay, all right. I went into a whole nother zone. All right, who else we got? Let me see, who else we got? Ross, we got any questions in the chat?
Yeah, we got a bunch. Benny's the last one with their hand raised, and then we can hit the chat.
All right, go ahead, Benny.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. One of the questions I had was the thought around analysis paralysis. So I kind of feel like there's two functionalities. Like before I signed up for coaching with you, I was kind of moving in a certain direction. Two things I want, how do I continue the learning? Because what I don't want to feel is this sense of like, I got to wait for the next call to be like activated. But how do I continue the learning in this at the same time, being able to pivot, adjust, and activate some of the things that I know I wanted to start moving towards? Because I get the sense at times where, and I think this just happens like this kind of like stop and go mindset, where it's like wanting to have like it all figured out, and then feeling like once I do, then I'll be encouraged, when in actuality, it's not that. Building momentum and building motivation happens by action. And so can you just speak to that for a little bit? Because like yesterday, the reason why I was able to even get on the phone with Kristen is because like I was all up on the website. Like I was like, yo, I was going through everything while I was listening, while I was working on my Q framework.
Yep.
And so at the same time, you know what I'm saying? If you could speak to that.
I got you. And it really kind of connects to what I was just saying. It's a mindset. So think about what you're saying. I want to learn, I want to grow. And that's great. But you got to do business. And in order for you to actually do, and his business is the exchange of a product or service or program for commerce. And so in order for you to do that, and here's the key, everybody, consistently. Let me say it again. You have to turn nothing into something consistently. And so what that means is, and this was, I'm teaching from mistakes that I made. I was that guy. I was the opposite. I would just go out and be transactional and hustle. And I was always looking for the next transaction. And then once I matured in my business mindset and in my lying, as I matured, I said, I need to set up systems and automations and have a solid foundation so that I can consistently generate revenue. And so where most people get stuck, Benny, is it's that change in mindset. There's a Q framework that you have. And I promise you, we were on the Monday call, remember? And as I'm talking in the growing in Boss Plus, and everybody wants to make money. I think one dude on there was talking about, Coach, show us how to do the Facebook ads. And I was like, where are you driving people to when you do the ads? Do you know how much it's gonna cost per person, per lead for the ad? How much is your program? And how is that gonna offset what you're paying for the ad? So there's back end work, there's a foundation and a process that you need to put in place. So when you, what my suggestion for you, Benny, is you have to forget everything that you thought you knew, everything that you think you know about yourself. And you have to become a businessman, a business owner. And the very first thing you need to do is make sure that your business is on a solid foundation. So I'm gonna give you a real live example. Picture your business as a store, right? Let's say you like, yo, I'm about to open up a store. Now, the very first thing you do is what? And anybody just jump out and tell me, when you say you want to open up a business, what's the first thing you do?
Find the business name.
Put the sign out.
The business name.
What else?
See if anybody's doing it.
What else?
The location of the business.
Boom,
Advertise.
location. First thing you got to do is say, where am I going to open this store? You got to make sure that the location is right. Then you got to say, let me go find a building. You got to have some place to put your products to perform your service. Let me go find a building. You go find a building. Then you get the building. Then the next thing that happened is you got to find somebody to do the build out, or you negotiate with your with the manager, the building owner, and you negotiate. But then you say, let me do a build out. I want the store to look a certain way. Then you say, okay, the store looks the way I want it to look. Now let me bring my product in the store, no matter how much product that is. Then you got to make sure that you put the product in the right place so that when people come in the store, they're looking at specific product. Then you say, you know what? I need people to pay for this product. I got to make sure I get a POS system in here. How are they going to pay for the product? Where am I going to put the cash register? Then you say you got all the stuff in the store. You got the cash register in the store. You got everything right. Now you're like, what? I need to drive traffic to the store. Now, watch this. A lot of us are driving traffic to ourselves, but you ain't got no store. You ain't got no cash register. You ain't got no product in the store. You just selling gum and candy. And then you're gonna wonder why the store closes, because you didn't follow a strategic plan to say, There are certain things that I need to do before I open up for business. When I opened up my very first barbershop, I went and this was the first time I had my shop, a brick and mortar store. I found a place. It wasn't a great location. I couldn't even afford the rent. I wrote my man a check that I don't think he cashed to this day. And this was like almost 20 years ago. So I did that, got in. I didn't have any I didn't have no furniture until the night before I was supposed to open, and I only had one chair and one mirror for me to cut my clients. As I built out, we got a couple more chairs, but I couldn't get barbers in because for the guys that I would get in, there wasn't enough traffic coming through for them to eat. So they didn't stay. And it made sense because they couldn't pay me if they wasn't making money. I had to shut that down. I had to regroup. Then the next shop I opened, I said, the very first thing I said was, I need to get a good foundation. First thing I need is a good location. I found a great location. Then I said, the next thing I need is chairs. So I found somebody that would work with me on the chairs. Then I said, let me get my man to come in here and build out the place. And then once I had the build out, I had the chairs in place, I walked into the shop with 2 or 3 people to cut because of the great location. They were able to come in and cut. And then I built it from there to what it was. And so I want you to think about, if you're thinking like a business, you got to be like, what is the product, program, or service that I want to put out into the marketplace? And these are your 6 pillars. People, you need to know who your client or customer is. Problem, you need to know what problem are you solving for them. Presentation, which is the story. You need to have a story around your product or program, and it's going to be based on your unique life experiences. Platform, you need to know what platforms you're going to share your product, program, and service with the people, meaning what platforms will you be on social media? What platforms will you be on live in their face? What telephone platforms? Process, what is the back end process from beginning to end? How am I driving traffic into my business? What is the system? What is the onboarding system? What is the process in between? And what is the offboarding system? And then profit, how am I collecting bread? Is my business subscription? Am I automatically charging cards, or am I sending out invoices every month? And included in that is, what are my proposals? What do my contracts look like? Now, here's the mistake that some people are going to make. You're going to take the 6 P's and rock with them before you do the Q framework. And so the Q framework asks you, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? What experience do you have doing it? And who do you do it for? Those are the first few questions. And you're going to talk about people, program in the 6 pillars, but you're not going to be clear on the program. And then here's the other piece. Some will say, but man, I can do so many different things. We all can. Everybody has a lot of gifts and talents. And that doesn't mean you're never going to use them. But in this season, you need to pick one thing that you're sweet at and go solve a problem in the marketplace. Then get sweet with that. I did not open up my first shop until I maxed out my chair, until I got sweet with cutting. If I had tried to open up a shop when I first started cutting in Atlanta, I'd have been out of business in a week. I cut for 4 years in my man's shop before I walked out and got my own shop. I had to get sweet with my client care. I had to get sweet with my cutting. I had to get sweet with all of these things.
Hey, Coach, I don't want to take up too much time because I want to respect everyone's time. I just want to just follow up with that, because I think I don't suffer from an issue of like, can I do business? I've wrote so many strategies and so many plans and so many ideas. My concern even for myself, and I don't know, again, and others can speak to it as well, is just being able to, because I can answer those questions very easily and I don't have a problem with it.
Hold on, Benny. You did the best thing you did the thing that you were supposed to do.
Right, which is to get a coach, slow things down so I could speed things up.
No,
right.
Not that, not just that. You got a pusher. And so I already know, I've already figured it out. I need to be your pusher. You don't need the promoter right now. You don't need the preparer as much. You need the pusher. And that goes back to what I was saying to Rachel. You got to be these 4 things for everybody that you work with. And so every time you go out, every time you get that paralysis, I'm going to push you. But here's the other thing, guys. I need to make sure I'm pushing you in the right direction. And then pushing sometimes needs to turn into pulling, because sometimes you can go so far out, I need to pull you back to the basics.
Thanks.
Thanks, Benny. Who else we got? Let me jump in.
I got these questions. So some of these questions were, do you need to have a call to action for every email you send or for every post?
Yeah, you should have a call to action. Here's where the challenge is. A lot of people think the call to action is always buy this, buy that. It's not the call to action. The call to action could be a question. What will you do next week in your health? That's a call to action. That's an engagement. Write down, I did a post one time and I said, what does this mean to you? That's a call to action. You should, if you're using social media like business media, which is what you should be doing, the very first thing you want to do is engage with your followers. You want to engage with the people. And engagement looks like asking questions. If you're a coach, you should be engaging with people. People should see you coaching. Everybody that's looking at this right now that has never been on a call with me or never seen me, what they're seeing me do right now is coach. And that goes back to the Q framework. Who are you and what do you do? I coach entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, and business owners on how to start, scale, and grow their businesses. And people are seeing me do that. They're seeing me coach. So yes, there should be a call to action, but you should have a list of different call to actions, and they all look different.
Next one is it okay to have numerous CRMs?
Hell no. Not
Speaking
no,
from
but hell no.
experience.
Yeah, I'm speaking from major experience. I slept around with a lot of CRMs until I got one now that I love. I'm in love with. I was just on the phone yesterday with my team, and I use Zoho now. We use Zoho for everything now. But I slept around with Insightly, Salesforce. I had a nice intimate relationship with HubSpot for a minute. But yeah, I just slept around. And sleeping around means that I've been taking in all this stuff and I ain't make a commitment to nothing. And now I just got married to Zoho and we in our honeymoon phase and we're doing real good. So you need to find one. Now watch this. Yup, I even slept around with Pipedrive too, Benny. And so watch this. I had to find the CRM that worked for me in my business in the season. So when I was using Insightly, while I liked it, it wasn't good for me for my business in that season. When I was using 17 Hats, it was perfect for me in one phase of my business, sending out proposals, using the lead forms, and then with the contracts. That worked well for the speaking part of my business, but not necessarily the coaching and the group coaching programs in my business. But Zoho CRM, I'm talking about. And then when you got an experienced team behind you that can really break it down. So now I got the Zoho where I can do texting, email, we sending out the campaigns with it. We hooking it up to everything. And I got one platform for everything. And when you do that, you make your business more efficient. And that is what you want, efficiency. What else we got, Ross?
That was actually the last question in the chat.
All right, hold on before we jump. I'm in IG. Let me see if I got anything in IG. Go get it. Research. Yeah. Well put. Thank you. Great morning. Great morning, LinkedIn.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let's show ask the question. My apologies. I had to scroll so far. She said, when you find in an area of your life and it's keeping you from fully embracing what you feel like God has called you to do, what do you do to create belief? I know what to physically do, but in the mindset, it seems a little bit harder to balance.
Yeah. Let me say this, and I'm gonna be real with everybody. Like I know right now, and y'all heard me, well, maybe you haven't. I dropped a video, and I did this talk one time where I talked about when I was cutting hair, I was practicing my gift of coaching, working with people, but behind the barber chair. So I was practicing my gift on that platform. And so throughout life, I realized that you're going to practice your gift and practice your purpose and passion on different platforms. And so I know, I'm gonna be real, that I know that there's another thing in my life that I'm supposed to do. But this is what I had to do. I had to stop thinking about it or trying to figure it out. And I just began to work it out, because had I not gotten behind the chair and was cutting, I wouldn't have known that I didn't belong. I would have stayed on that platform longer than I needed to. And you have to think like this: the purpose that's on your life is, first of all, you don't know when you're gonna walk in it. That's the first thing, but you still need to walk. And so while we know that there's something more for us to do, sometimes we try to force things and make them happen in our time. So what I learned to do was, let me do the things that I'm supposed to do right now in this season, and look at it as a time of experience and experiences and growth and development. And that belief that I need to get will happen from me daily doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. I would not have the belief that I could do what I'm doing now if I wasn't competent and qualified to do it behind that barber's chair. I would not be able to jump on just a random Q&A call and just answer questions for people. I'm only able to answer the questions because of my experiences and my experience. And if I didn't go to work and implement things and not just think about things, I wouldn't have the experiences and I wouldn't be able to answer these questions. And so I always say, the first thing you do is get confident. And confidence comes from action. But then confidence is temporary. So if you stay consistent with action, your confidence builds. But when the confidence goes away, you start to believe. Belief comes after confidence. And a lot of times we want the belief before you get the confidence. Belief is not something that you can think about. That's why I say in the book, like, well, maybe don't say this in the book, but I'm gonna say it. You don't know how much faith you have until you've been tried. It don't say that in the book. But you don't know what your faith is, how much faith you say you have until you've been tried. Because a lot of people be like, I believe, I'm gonna go do this. But then when trials come, that's when your faith is really tested. And so the only thing that I'm saying to everybody is, it ain't about, people come to me like, Coach, man, how are you so trusting? It ain't got nothing to do with trust. I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt until you do something to remove yourself. That's all. And then even then, everybody deserves a second chance. And so until you take action, if y'all notice my tweets, especially from now for the next couple of weeks, tweets, my drops in Instagram is all about movement and action. Because that's what opens up everything. You cannot be in the over-under syndrome where you overthink and you overplan and you over this and you underperforming. It's in the action and in the performance that you find out what your passion and your purpose is. And if you ain't moving, you don't know. Let me tell you something. For those of us that have had children or you see babies don't stop moving. I'm talking about even when they don't stop moving. They're actively trying to grow. Like, they're not just growing physically, they're trying to walk, they're trying to talk, they're trying to hold their bottle. They slapping you upside the head because we're naturally born to move. But what happened is you got intelligent, you smart now. You think that you can think your way through a problem. I told somebody this one day, Rachel. I was like, look, this is what I want you to do this, do that, and then go. I told somebody yesterday, we're gonna do this, and that, and then next week I want you to do a webinar. He's like, next week? Absolutely, do the webinar. But coach, this is what I want you to set up, then go do the webinar. Why you want me to do the webinar? I wanna see if this works. It worked for me, that don't mean it's gonna work for you. Write these down. Learn it, live it, lead it. You learn something new. So
You said lead, I'm sorry, you said lead it?
Lead, like L-E-A-D. So I'm gonna use Rachel as an example. Rachel asked me a question. I gave her the 4 Ps She wrote them down as they correspond with the animals, which may or may not mean anything to her, but she wrote down those 4 P's. She learned something. Now, when she go out and she practiced that thing, she's living it. Then she's gonna be like, oh, that worked. Then she's gonna lead with it. And watch this, as she begins to lead with it, she will remix it and remodel it to fit her. And then somebody will come to her and then she can teach it. Learn it, live it, lead it, teach it. What else we got? I got 2 minutes.
What's the difference between lead it and teach it?
Lead it is you leading by example with it. Model, that's like modeling it. Teaching it is literally share, like bringing students in or mentees, and you're literally teaching what you learned for them to rinse and repeat your same process. That makes sense, Cheryl?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You don't sound like it.
I mean, in my mind, teach it and lead it is the same, but
So here's what I mean, intentionally. So what I'm doing on here is teaching. If y'all are watching me on social media, I'm leading because you're watching me model it. You might see me do the video, the 4 Ps, the video with the 4 Ps on IG. That's me leading it. You're looking at me from a distance. I'm modeling the behavior. But then when you get on the phone with me, I'm breaking it down. I'm literally, all right, there you go.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You gonna stop giving me a hard time too, Chef.
I mean, was that a hard time or is it early? Oh, okay.
I don't
All
see
right.
you on the calendar for next week either.
Tuesday, brother. Tuesday.
Right, let's go. All right.
I have a quick question if we got time.
Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
Just in terms of the 4 Ps and our call of action. I don't know if it's a question or just saying something, but our calls to action, depending on what we're doing consistently, should also match whether we're pulling, pushing, promoting, or training, correct?
Say that one more time.
Content. So if I'm putting out content just to kind of, let people know what it is that I do, it should also be, it should also have the 4 Ps applied, correct?
No, it should have the 4 E's applied.
Oh, there's E's too?
Yeah. Let me back up a second for you, Rachel.
He's got the whole alphabet. I love it.
I promise you.
I see.
I actually got a book coming out called The ABCs. Anyway, no. Anyway, here you go, Rachel. So those, when you're putting content out, you're only putting content out to your ideal client. We're going back to the Q framework. Because you know what you do, not just that you're a coach, you know your EOS, your explanation of services. So you can say, I help, boom, boom, boom. And I heard you say it, so you know that. So now when you're posting the 4 S's. You're sharing, showing, serving, and solving for that ideal client on that ideal platform, on that primary platform that they're on, right? So now as you're putting that out there, you're doing it with the 4 E's. You're being exciting, you're being entertaining, you're being engaging, and you're educating. Exciting is your lion, entertaining is your flamingo, engaging is your chameleon, and educating is your turtle. And so as you're displaying those 4 characteristics while you're doing your content, you're gonna connect with all of the different personalities in your primary market. So for people that are turtles, your educating piece will speak to that. For people that are exciting, your lion piece will speak to that. And then once you bring them into your relationship headquarters, where you begin to connect, communicate with them, then your 4 Ps you'll stay in your 4 E's. Once you convert them to be a client, that's when the 4 Ps kick in. Because now you're getting to know them and you'll know when to push, when to pull, when to prepare, and when to promote.
Thank you. I need that book.
Yeah, you need to schedule a consult with me. You need to
I do.
come on in and get this work. Don't worry, you're about to get the text. Don't even worry about it. All right. I appreciate y'all. Let's next week, 8 o'clock. Ross, you got anything you want to leave us with?
Nope. There are a couple of people who I was just gonna say that I think if you have more questions and you want to work more intimately, I would just say, schedule a call, because there's plenty of clearly there's value that you're dropping. But I know some people just want to wait. They were waiting for the coffee Q&A email versus just hopping on a call with
Yeah. Tony Rawson, you're gonna catch hell for that one. All right, yeah. If you guys want to jump on a call with me, go a little deeper. Go to KendallFicklin.com. KendallFicklin.com. Y'all have a great grind day. We'll talk soon.